Good day everyone. We are here to discuss about chapter 15, which is the strategy and tourism, hospitality and event, theory and practice. This part is worried about summing up a portion of the key hypothetical discussions inside tourism, hospitality and event or THE and vital administration topic and giving down to earth direction to delivering a procedure. The topic of this book is worried about two very youthful and interrelated regions, in particular the travel industry, neighborliness, and functions, the executives and key administration. Okay, so let us proceed to the growth of tourism, hospitality and event, and the managerial challenges presented. Given the strength and drive of the private area in the improvement of worldwide travel industry, cordiality and functions of the board and the development in the administrations which uphold this, a business that chiefs arrange approach to manage THE examinations has progressed throughout ongoing years and has become the dominating packaging for demonstrating THE in universities and schools. These regulatory exercises responding to separated challenges routinely can be sorted as one of the apparent utilitarian zones of business, displaying human resource the board, record and errands, anyway in joining the huge issues in a solitary spot. They are considered as a component of the rising academic field we consider here of key organization. Such development will be lopsided both partially and concerning time and is probably going to occur against the background of emotional changes in the business climate, consequently making both administrative and advertising openings and difficulties for private area pioneers and public area strategy producers. Okay, so let us now proceed to strategic management for tourism, hospitality and events, a disciplinary dilemma. Since their moderately late sections into standard advanced education, the connected investigations of the travel industry, accommodation and functions have pulled in banter with respect to their disciplinary status and how they ought to be examined. Specialists draw intensely upon disciplines as different as associations, hypotheses, and conduct, human assets, the executives, financial aspects, bookkeeping and money, and advertising, just as endeavoring to plan their own speculations and investigative structures. The discussion has fundamentally centered around how the travel industry, friendliness, and function the board ought to be conceptualized and the suggestions it may have for instructors and experts. Corresponding to the discussion in the travel industry, cordiality and functions, let's say for instance, Faulkner and Ryan, year 1999, Pottenbacher et al., key administration is a similarly youthful order, if surely it very well may be known as a control when it is indeed a multi and between disciplinary field of study. Essentially, it is additionally the situation that investigations of the travel industry, cordiality and functions are moderately later in their inceptions, and there is some uncertainty with respect to whether they are for sure trains by any means.
Strategic management in the THE context. Consequently, so as to accomplish the objective of upper hand chiefs must have a comprehension of how worth is included, an association and various methodologies have been utilized in the rise of another administrative worldview, key administration, since the 1960s. The branch of knowledge has been broadly considered as a subject of scholarly interest, and an immense writing in the field has been collected, including powerful early works from essayists, for example, Chandler in 1962 and Ansoff in 1987. Approaches to the study of strategic management. The creating idea of technique as a reasonable scholastic examination is reflected in two related discussions spinning around what establishes the most proper way to deal with vital administration. A few scholars advocate a way to deal with administration which is arranged as prescriptive, likewise called conscious, while others contend that it is smarter to advance procedure steadily. In this book, we have fundamentally received a prescriptive methodology while recognizing that technique in contemporary, quick-moving condition must be adaptable and along these lines may incorporate a few components that change and might have been seen as eminent. The prescriptive versus emergent strategy debate. Planned or prescriptive strategy. On the other hand, it is contended that deliberate arranging causes it conceivable to coordinate complex exercises and data. To join business schools, set focuses against which execution can be assessed and for the most part builds the level of control which can be practiced over the activity of the business. Emergent or incremental strategy. The risk is that a rising methodology may bring about an absence of direction in procedure and it can make it hard to assess execution since supposing that an association has no express target, execution against it can be estimated, it can shape a premise in hierarchical learning and can give you an interior culture to directors to think and act imaginatively, as opposed to need to act inside the unbending system and intentional procedure.
The competitive positioning versus resources competence debate. Competitive positioning. This is trailed by determination of the suitable conventional techniques along with steam-fastened investigation to guarantee that the business designs its worth adding exercises so as to help a system dependent on either separation or cost authority. This way of thinking overwhelmed key administration from the 1980s, and however it has been generally condemned during the 1990s. The diagnostic system contrived by Porter during 1980s are still broadly utilized by the two chefs and scholastics. The significant quality of the methodology lies in the prepared materials of these structures to examination of the business and its current circumstances. Resources or core competence-based strategy. The methodology likewise underscores hierarchical learning, information that executive and communitarian business networks as were spring of upper hand. In spite of the fact that the methodology came to unmistakable quality during the 1990s, its causes lie in crafted by Penrose, who underscored the significance of the business and its assets in deciding the presentation. The significant contrast to the serious situating approach is that the significance of individual business is accomplishing upper hand underlined instead of the business. Regards an integrated approach to strategy. Similarities and differences between the approaches. On the other hand, the perspective and developing methodologies are regularly introduced as being oppositely restricted, similar to the serious situating and fitness-based of methodologies. The perspective methodology and serious situating schools are frequently observed as identified with one another in light of the fact that the two of them receive an exceptionally organized perspective of key administration. Acknowledging the contribution of each approach. Approximately, it is proposed that methodology must be both internal and outward-looking, arranged anew. By embracing this imagination, a more extensive comprehension of upper hand can be picked up. Key strategic management writers. Expanding on the classification of vital administration approaches into perspective of intentional and immanent. Whittington, 2001 adds two further restricting factors: the ideal result, which may be benefit application or pluralistic. Strategy in practice. How should it be presented? Factors determining how strategy is presented. We currently turn our considerations weekly to a thought of system, practically speaking and explicitly. How should procedure be introduced? Obviously that there is no supreme response to this injury, since the introduction of the system is an emotional issue and the style change hugely. Styles of strategy presentation. It has had to be exact about establishes great practices with regards to introducing a methodology in light of the fact that, as illustrated above, it is generally abstract and it's controlled by the setting in which it is composed.